opted for elections, and most of the training programs are focused on how journalists can report accurately to ensure peaceful elections. And what brought about this news and editorial symposium on this oil and gas?
Interesting enough, we also have election components in this our symposium. The whole idea is to bring journalists and editors together so they can discuss issues surrounding oil and gas. Oil and gas is a very important resource for the country because of its revenue potential and how we can utilize the resources to ensure that Ghana can grow and become a prosperous nation. So the focus of our discussion is that we're looking at issues surrounding revenue. How do we manage revenue? What are the news items that we can produce from that level? There is also the issue about transparency. How can we ensure that information about the sector is made available so our citizens can actually understand and also relate to some of these issues? Of course, we're also interested in the political parties. As we are going to elections, what are their policy positions on oil and gas? What are they going to do differently so when the voters go out there, they can actually decide who to vote for based on those positions?
This is being organized in the East.
We've been running this program for the past 5 years, and we are working in Ghana, Uganda, and Tanzania, working with our partners, Natural Resource Governance Institute. So after this symposium, we are planning our next training workshop that will take place in Tanzania. Then after that, we are going to have some series of meetings also in Accra. So we have a long-drawn program, and we are taking one step at a time. Hello.
Yeah. Accra, where we are privileged to meet you as one of the participants of this particular program. You know that you are in journalism and your role cut across all other. Why this one? What benefit is GBC going to derive from it? And you personally, what do you think?
Let me first say a big thank you to the organizers of this course. I'm looking at Penplusbytes and the Natural Resource Governance Institute for deepening our capacity in how we should look at accountability and transparency in the oil sector in particular and project management in general in Ghana. If we talk of benefit, I've always been talking about specialization, and the benefit is that we will have to tell our management to take specialization of our decks very seriously. Because if you look at the oil and gas industry, it is a specialized field, and if we have people who are trained, people who are engineers, people who are into the business, this analysis that we're looking at, this contract award that we're looking at, this transparency that we're looking at, and accountability will be much more easier for them to appreciate. But then we're also saying that we are not laymen. With the experience we have, we will go back and ensure that we refresh the memory of our subordinates and colleagues so that they also see how they can prosecute the agenda of holding government accountable to the service they are supposed to provide to our country.
Thank you. What really have you learned from this 2-day program or 3 days training workshop?
Today's program has been very beneficial. It's been very important for us as journalists. You know, most often you see journalists running away from issues related to business and economics, and because it's very difficult to digest. And I believe that with the emergence of oil and gas in Ghana, you realize that there is a need for us to learn and delve into it to be able to save this country, because we wouldn't need experts to come from outside to Ghana to come and lecture us on oil and gas issues when we have the ability to learn and understand. So today has been very helpful. We learned about transparency and accountability, and over the world, transparency and accountability have been moving together. But it looks like in Ghana, we're doing much about transparency, and we are not being able to account to the people on how we utilize the revenue that we have generated from the oil and gas sector. Officials undertake projects, and when you ask them how much did you spend on this project, then they tell you that, oh wait, it's not about the expenditure or the money, it's about the delivery of the project to the people, because that is what the people need. But we have to move away from that. We need to look at how the cost of the project and compare and evaluate them to see whether we have value for the money that we've invested in the project. And as journalists, we should be able to evaluate, some of these projects and see whether it's been good to us, it's been beneficial to the people in the community. Are we getting benefits from the revenue that we are generating from the oil production? Otherwise, we'll end up like countries like Nigeria and Gabon and Angola, where the officials have not been able to account to the people as to the revenue, how much they have generated from oil production. So I think it's beneficial, and I hope that it will continue, so that we'll be abreast with, the oil industry is very dynamic. So we need to be abreast with the issues so that we can handle it one-on-one to be able to account to the people of Ghana.
Your name?
As they see them, and as we also do for the sector in Ghana, what they are proposing, we will have an open discussion. The format we will agree together. But I have a list of questions, hopeful that if you go through the documents that at some point in the course of that, almost all the political parties have something to say about the new resource that Ghana has just found, the oil and gas, but none, they would tell you if they were here. Now it was very clear as to what to be accountable will require so much of their own party. It was observed that it's often the case that once they are in government, they struggle to put in what they think is best. That means there hasn't been prior thinking through of what indeed this very important area is for Ghana. So we set out to engage the political parties using or leveraging the opportunity of officers at the national office level to commit and to suggest to us how they see things if they were to work with us on this standard. So we concluded on two, that I think the same room we had 1 week period with the political parties for them to reflect first on their 2012 positions and propositions in their manifestos, juxtapose that with what Ghana's current challenges are or have been, and to see what can be done better if and when them gets aware of it. It was launched at Aliza Hotel. It had a lot of mileage, but we are hoping in the run-up to the elections to still have conversation with them. This time not for them to talk about what simply they have put on paper, but how to operationalize that should they win power. We intend to host the 4 parties in Accra on a 5-day radio discussion, a day each for each party. The climate day, all of them will debate the issues out, and then we'll take them to the final community level engagement where they will again talk to what indeed they can do with those propositions. That is just to excite you to get interested in it, because without the media we can't go anywhere. Without both parties, no, all parties have their interests at heart. Somebody have, but they all agree that something needed to change. Something needs to change. They also agree that there has been a lot of transparency, but less on the accountability side, and therefore something has to get done. And it will take a lot more than just allowing an executive leader of the political party to do that. they all in confidence because we held them in parallels. They were not talking together at a go. We had experts in and out of Ghana taking each political party, talking them through the issues as they are and as they pertain to the sector, so that they can build agreement across the four parties. But when you test them, pushing them further in the private rooms that they had, around these rooms, each of them will say almost like the other party in confidence. But when they are together, they disagree. Which means that if we think clearly together and have a plan, we can behave better. So, and they spoke very eloquently among them as well. That said, we then sent them to tell us what they would do, how they would do it. And on 12th October, we got the political parties to know their policy. It has to take a lot of work to get this far. But the thinking and ideas are there. And the intention is that there will be some connection between political parties and the party in particular in power and the executive lead of that party in government. So that the party can bring to bear on the executive what it said it will do in their manifestos. Our hope therefore is these policy positions will find, some of them will find their way into their policy position. The highlights or the key reforms they say they will do. If you read the document, there's more to say. You make meaning some of them we don't. But that's because guided by the experience and criticism being received. So if you have been following the discourse on how the oil and gas sector is governed, I want to say that NDC and MPP were non-committal in particular because they are, either of them are likely to win, so they don't want to put their heads on the door. The two main parties were not as committal as the PNC, and the CPP, unfortunately, was less in capacity to advocate or tell their story well. Nonetheless, they have their views there which you can read. But the NDC says that they would want to achieve more competence, professionalism, and to get their institutions to be more accountable, and will reinforce this application of corporate governance practices. That's very loaded. It's open-ended. You can interpret it as you like. They will do more of what they are already doing, investing to achieve more in terms of benefits for Ghana, and therefore investing to help modernize the agriculture sector, improve the infrastructure for the oil and gas sector, build roads and highways across in a way that connects all the productive sectors to the new oil fine resource. And then to build capacity so that all of that can be sustained over the long haul. PNC. They have specific reforms for each area. You can see the specificity I'm talking about if you follow this conversation. They will create an additional exclusive transparency agency charged with contracting and procurement within the oil and gas sector. You would use your media lens to query that, whether that will not create another bureaucracy for more corruption. What we have, why is it not performing? Is it the need for a silo approach, or we just need to get the whip cracked? But that's what the PNC proposes. They intend also to strengthen government boards of GNPC, that state-owned enterprises, Ghana Gas, Oil Refinery, and all those bodies that will come up in the course of our development of the sector. Standards by passing a law that will compel politically exposed persons to declare and publish their assets. We all can agree that we don't know what political actors, in particular, their assets are. They declare them, but who knows what is in there? Perhaps proposed houses, properties they will acquire are added. We never can tell. Who verifies indeed whether they have what they said they have? And until it's challenged, we don't know. And just go to God and ask that I want to know what Duadio has or had before his stewardship, or Chairman Sakonsu, what he had in the past how many years he's been in parliament and why he still thinks he will run. Or Joe Gatti, or what did he have before parliament? What did he get there out of parliament? This is just talking to the politics and the realities on the ground. They say they have their assets declared, but to who? The Auditor General. But it's enveloped and shelved somewhere. It's not declaration. Yes, sir. Okay. First, given what we have just gotten from the Occupy Ghana group going to court, that indeed, if you test the laws, you get results. You just need to take the bull by the horns. Citizen Ghana movement. Citizen Ghana movement. There are a lot of Ghanaians. So, Citizen Ghana movement. So it means that if you dare to test the status quo, you go further. And I think that in the absence of that, personal view, I know I worked closely with them in the past 11 years. Sometimes when they bring it, why they are trying to think certain things are or should belong to the few in position and authority, you don't understand. But my view is that anywhere in the world, if you don't dare to challenge authority or to speak truth to power, you won't get what you want. They are not there working only for each other. So they know me. That is why we need to know what they had before and after. Smarties, right? We all know his connection. He is of political lineage. We cannot conclude it is, but certainly without even she putting pressure, somebody would, out of fear, came in. I'm not saying that is the case, but certainly we know that as human, it is a reality. That is why we just want to know what you had before and after. That's okay. And then the process can take its course if you fall out anything. The intent also that directors and officers of the state were made individually liable for criminal prosecution in the events of suspected offences. So they want to hold they call them the permanent secretaries also accountable because they are supposed to be there. They are supposed to be the repository of all that needs to happen well in the ministry. If it's not going well, they need not pass the buck and give it to the politicians. That's what PNC says. To achieve fiscal sustainability, they intend to enact Fiscal Responsibility Act for that. To achieve budget and expenditure coherence, debt ceiling, a revision of the tax regime of the oil and gas industry to favor local companies, vis-a-vis international corporations. So you can just, looking at this against the Ghanaians, that the agreement allows only for those with capital, the resources to invest. In the absence of the state having money to invest, it means it can be taken away. They think we can find options to address this challenge as they see it. They intend, should they win power, review the current fiscal regime and policies to address fiscal responsibility challenges for prudent management of the economy. And in particular, they think they have to have a long-term strategy for the sector, a framework that will guide where money will go and what will get out of it. And we just posed the question during the panel discussions whether the PRMA specification, that the rule for the AFSA as they stand now, weren't sufficient. The fact that the minister has the discretion to determine a number of areas to spend money over a 3-year period, wasn't that enough? They said yes, it's a good start, but it doesn't clarify what would they get in the sector that they choose. They need to know in 3 years we want to get this far, so that things are managed project-wise, clearly deliverable outcomes. So they think that without a plan, without a framework, telling Ghanaians this is what your oil money can get you over this period, we shouldn't spend the money. And therefore, they are even more radical in terms of how much to save and how much to keep. We'll see that shortly. For greater transparency with particular reference on terms of ownership and contract with private investment and participation. Streamline the participation of state companies in the sector to ensure value addition across the supply chain. And increase capital investment to expand and increase state equity in the sector. In terms of streamlining, they think that UNPC or gas, cost, all of them need stability. As a priority for the CPP, increasing state assets is non-negotiable should they win power. That a state without capital cannot be said to be practicing capitalism. You need to have capital to practice capitalism. Therefore, they think that GNP would get the necessary investment under their watch to compete just like Total. Their political person uses the word slavery. That if you work only to pay debts, without sin and you are a slave. And therefore, notwithstanding the mistakes, we need to go back as a sovereign state to renegotiate those things and pay them over time. To ensure a constitutional amendment that requires a 2/3 majority, you see the specificity again, a 2/3 majority in Parliament for approval of loan acquisitions. And those of you in the media, if you follow sometimes the response, the last one, if you follow sometimes how the stool spend the money sent to them, sometimes it's a scandal. I remember we had a subnational event, why they wouldn't procure certain things in Ghana, justifying that the only option is to get certain things outside. Ensure passage of the EITI bill to be independent when donors are funding our public interest, and donors are funding it. So they intend to fund it wholly by Ghana and get it to work. Elected and to promote increased public education awareness of the EITI and the PIAC report that informed citizens are better equipped to hold governments accountable. For that reason, popularizing the information in the report, in these reports, will be very important. And to develop not only in the revenues, but the fallout from developing the sector. Some political voices here we see. Only on the first, oil and gas contracts shall be subjected to the Public Procurement Act. And the final decision on the award of oil block contract is left to the Minister of Petroleum. To ensure transparency, the PNC will change this arrangement. That's the honor. They haven't been in power yet. Let's see what they should do. The NDC supports and encourages transparency and accountability within the operations of the state-owned enterprises. To this end, the Ghana National Petroleum Company.
The presentation you did, I saw the constituency of the NBC, PNC, and CPP. What happened to the end?
Very valid, fully to the end. They have a document, but they're not willing to share it, notwithstanding that we work with them. And as I said, it was in parallel, trusting that we won't compromise their documents until they are public as they are now. But up to now, they are purported not to have been finalized, even though they participated in the launch. And
that's what I tried to speak to some of the members of Parliament, okay, to represent the NPP. The whole party was there, and the PIA MP was there. I spoke to see some of these people, and what I heard, that's what I want to share. I initially stated that, I mean, the NDC and the NPP have this issue. The NPP will always accuse the NDC of stealing their ideas. But whatever we bring, they can take it to embellish it and claim, pretend it's yours. So when this issue was said, we will not release our document for you to see. Probably you could take one or two things because you are in government and things are not working for you. You don't know how to manage, we are finding difficulty in managing some of these things. And we have the idea. So when we bring it, we can pick one or two things from it to shape what you do. So that is what I like. And this is still but they came in to share what they know and what they have and what they intend to do.
If NBC and MPP were husband and wife, would you think that result is tenable for a family to survive sustainably in the future? Is Ghana bigger than the party or the party is bigger than Ghana? And therefore, still your good idea to run it. Is there a problem with that? Does anybody have a contrary view to their position? That day, they scrambled for the other party's documents. Why not also share your document? Even they asked me to send it, I think copies of what I sent. So if you are ready to feed on their information, why not share yours? So it's not tenable. It's just that they have their own issues. Okay. Any other question? Mark, we have a session now for them to try their hands on what the documents have. As we discussed. Okay. First and foremost, I think if we have smaller groups, it will make us work better. So, 3 groups. Or would you propose that, given that
okay, so I've put just some areas there, just so that we can frame them and we can note down what was in the past release. And when we discuss them, we can start comparing commitments. So maybe use that loosely. I mean, it's a good point. Take a critical eye at them as well. I mean, try and distinguish where there are commitments and where there are just broad. There are some needs to say we want to do this, which is a lot more specific. It's very difficult to hold the government to account so be critical of the commitments as well. Think critically about statements that are made in the actual I did a tweet that said hello. You should see it.
So on the issue of using